Hey guys, it's Courtney King with King Realty. I wanted to take a moment and share a brief story with you, and it has to do with somebody that reached out to me recently. Before I really get started though, let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb because that thing will always ring. So recently a homeowner contacted me, and she's actually behind on her mortgage, over 2 years behind on her mortgage. And so she's in a tough position, and she wanted to get my take on how I can help and kind of what her options are. So she gave me access to talk to her mortgage holder, who is Chase Bank. And I called them and got some more information to help her. In her case, and a lot of other people that are facing foreclosure or are getting behind on their mortgage, you have options. It's such a stressful time, I can only imagine. But the earlier you reach out for help, the better it is for you, because I feel like, the earlier part, you can be a little bit proactive. You can contact your mortgage company, and I feel like there might be a little bit more options. In her case, she has two main options. And so let's talk about those foreclosure alternatives. And just two disclaimers. One, I represented a buyer that was buying a house that was being short sale house. And so I was on the other side, but I didn't know really the seller side, kind of what the options are. So these are the foreclosure alternatives. If you know somebody that may be in this situation, have them reach out to me, because I'd love to just educate them and make sure that they know their options. In this particular prospective client's case, there's two options. One is a deed in lieu of foreclosure. A lot of people call it just a deed in lieu. The other option is to short sell the property. So let me highlight both of those. Number one, a deed in lieu basically is where the homeowner willingly transfers the ownership or title over to the lender. So in this case, the client signs a deed in lieu of foreclosure and says, Chase, you can have this house back. In that case, the lender will actually cancel the foreclosure proceedings. Some people do this in order to try to salvage whatever they can in terms of their credit. A couple of things that you should know, which I didn't know, is depending on how it's drafted, they may put a provision in that deed that says that they can come after you for the difference. So for example, let's say she gives the house back to Chase. Chase sells it, and then Chase is out of the money that they would have gotten had she paid her mortgage. Whatever that deficiency is, whatever that difference is between what they sold it for and what she owed, they potentially could go after her for that amount, which I did not know if you do a deed in lieu. Let's keep in mind, I'm not an attorney, so if you are considering this, I think it would be really a good idea for you to get counsel on what's going to be best, because they can negotiate those terms of that deed in lieu. Second option she has is a short sale. And this is where the homeowner sells the property for less than what it's worth. And then the lender agrees to cancel the foreclosure. A couple of really common conditions on this, which I didn't know about. So I'm looking at my notes here. Number one, again, they can go after you for the difference. So they can seek a judgment for you. So let's say your house, you owe $200, but you can only sell it for $175. That $25,000 difference, depending on what the provisions of the short sale is, they could seek a judgment for that. And they can go after you for that amount of money. So again, if you're doing short sale negotiations, you want to make sure you have the proper counsel, the proper representation, because you can negotiate all of the conditions with respect to the short sale. Another really important thing, whether you do a deed in lieu or a short sale, is that all subordinate liens, meaning let's say you have your first mortgage, but then you have some secondary liens on the property, those other lien holders actually have to agree to the whole short sale process. And so oftentimes what that first mortgage holder will do is sometimes they'll incentivize or give some sort of motivation to those second lien holders, which will help you or help them to agree to those alternative foreclosures. At the end of the day, everybody wants to get paid, wants to get money, so communication is key. Let's talk about the consequences of these foreclosure alternatives. Number one, obviously your credit score is going to drop. Guys, you know, if you're that behind on your mortgage, it's going to impact your credit. But keep in mind, what goes down can come up. You just have to be diligent. Again, the second consequence, they may go after you for the deficiency judgments. So depending on what you negotiate, you could still be on the hook. And then the last thing, which I thought was really interesting, and it makes complete sense, but again, I'm learning and I'm sharing this information with you. If a lender writes off whatever loss that they took on the house, so for example, you sold your house for $175,000, but you owed $200,000, and so they wrote off the loss of $25,000, they actually can make you pay income tax on that, which I didn't know. It makes complete sense. But so if they don't take that, or excuse me, if they do take it as a write-off or a loss, then you could be on the hook to pay income taxes for that amount that was waived. Sorry, the doorbell, it's notification that somebody's walking in my office. So I hope this is helpful. There are a lot of little caveats, so just make sure you seek proper counsel, but don't wait. Like, I know to some, this can be like embarrassing, but you know what? Life happens, and it's all about, you know, how you can turn it around, and most importantly, how you can get help out of the situation. And I'm sure it will all get better, but you got to make sure that you go to get proper counsel. So I hope this is helpful. Normally I do a lot of investor related topics, and so I'm gonna switch it up on you guys a little bit. This month I'm going to do investor as well as buyer and seller topics. So hope this was helpful. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of the day, and I will see you tomorrow.